The text came at 6:47 p.m., right when I was pulling the lasagna from the oven. Wait and don't eat dinner without me. I stared at Marissa's message, the phone hot in my hand, the kitchen smelling like garlic and tomato sauce. 11 words, capitalized like a headline. Not her usual style. Marissa texted in lowercase fragments, corporate shorthand from years of HR emails. This felt rehearsed. I set the casserole dish on the counter and typed back, "Where are you?" 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Running late, meeting went long. I checked our shared calendar. No meeting listed after 4 p.m. I pulled up her location. Still enabled, still shared, still trusted. The blue dot sat motionless on Riverside Drive, 2 blocks from Grant Holloway's gated community. Grant, her boss, regional sales director. 41, divorced twice, drove a charcoal Audi with vanity plates that read, "Closer." I'd met him once at a company barbecue. He'd shaken my hand like he was sealing a deal, held eye contact 3 seconds too long, and told me Marissa was absolutely essential to his operation. I looked at the lasagna. Cooling. Edges crusting over. My phone buzzed again. Han? Han. She only used that when she wanted something. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened the Photos app, scrolled back 3 weeks. There, that company gala Marissa had attended without me. Spouses not invited, just internal leadership, she'd said. She wore the black dress with the open back, the one that made her look like she belonged on a magazine cover. In the photo, someone posted to the company's public page. Grant stood beside her, his hand hovering at her waist, not quite touching but close enough to claim territory. I zoomed in. His wedding ring was gone, mine was still on. I pulled up our car's service app. Marissa drove a leased Lexus, one of those corporate perks that came with her promotion last year. The app tracked mileage for tax purposes, 1,400 miles in the past month. Her office was 8 miles from home. Even with errands, that was too much. I did the math. Subtracted grocery runs, her yoga studio, her mother's place in the suburbs. Still 300 miles unaccounted for. 300 miles of drives I didn't know about, to places she didn't mention. I sat down at the kitchen table. My hands were steady. That surprised me. Another text. "Babe, please don't be mad." Babe. Now she was worried. I typed slowly, carefully. "I'm on way to your gorgeous boss. You can take your time with her husband." I didn't check for typos. I hit send. The response was instant. My phone lit up with her name. I let it ring. It rang again, 4 times in 90 seconds. Then a text. "Caleb, please." All caps, panic. Good. Another call. I silenced it. The voicemail notification appeared almost immediately. I put on my jacket, grabbed my keys, walked out to my truck, a 10-year-old Ford that ran like a tank and didn't track anything. The lasagna sat abandoned on the counter, still warm, still untouched. Marissa called twice more before I reached the highway. I drove west toward Riverside Drive, toward the blue dot that wasn't moving, toward the truth I'd been avoiding for months. Traffic was light. Street lights flickered on as the sun dropped behind the skyline. Riverside was one of those areas where old money pretended to be new, where every lawn looked airbrushed and every driveway held a car worth more than my annual salary. Grant's house sat at the end of a cul-de-sac behind iron gates and a hedge wall that probably cost more than my kitchen remodel. The Audi was in the driveway. So was Marissa's Lexus. Both parked close together, noses pointed toward the street like they were ready to run. I parked 3 houses down, engine off, lights off. My phone vibrated nonstop. 14 missed calls, 23 texts. The preview of her latest message scrolled across the screen. "Caleb, I can explain everything, just please." I turned the phone face down. The gates to Grant's property were closed, but not locked. I could see that from here. Security theater. Expensive and useless. A camera pointed at the entrance, another at the porch. Motion-activated floods mounted under the eaves. Standard rich person setup, meant to make you think twice. I wasn't thinking twice anymore. But I wasn't getting out of the truck either. Not yet. Because I realized something sitting there in the dark, watching the two cars that shouldn't be parked together, listening to my phone buzz like a trapped wasp. I didn't want answers. I didn't want to hear her explanations, her justifications, her carefully constructed HR-approved talking points about needs not being met and emotional distance and how we'd grown apart. I wanted leverage, and leverage required patience. I started the truck and pulled away from the curb. Marissa's next call came as I turned onto the main road. This time I answered. "Caleb, I'm heading home," I said. My voice was calm, too calm. "Where were you?" Her tone tried for casual but landed somewhere near hysteria. "Driving." "Driving where?" "Around." Silence. Then, "That text you sent. That was cruel." "Was it?" "You know it was." "Do I?" Another pause, longer this time. I could hear her breathing, trying to regain control. This was her wheelhouse. Conflict management, de-escalation. She'd been trained for this. "We need to talk," she said finally. "Face to face, when I get home." "What time will that be?" "Soon. I'm leaving now." "From where?" The smallest hesitation. "From Grant's. We were reviewing Q3 metrics." "At his house. He has a home office. It's easier than—" "See you at home, Marissa." I hung up. The thing about working in facilities management for 15 years is you learn how things break. Not just mechanically, but systemically. You see where the cracks form, where pressure builds, where a single failure cascades into total collapse. A hospital doesn't function because everything works perfectly. It functions because someone notices the warning signs and fixes them before disaster strikes. I'd been ignoring the warning signs. Not anymore. When I got home, I didn't touch the lasagna. I opened my laptop instead, logged into our shared cloud storage. Still linked, still syncing. Marissa believed in digital organization, kept everything backed up, color-coded, cross-referenced. Her entire life was here. Receipts, appointments, photos, documents. I started downloading, credit card statements first, restaurants I didn't recognize, hotel bars in the business district, charges at a boutique we'd never shopped at together, a receipt from a jeweler dated 2 weeks ago, $400 for something she hadn't worn home. I kept going, emails, thousands of them, work correspondence mostly, professional, appropriate. But there was a thread buried 6 months back, marked private discussion. The subject line read, realignment conversation. I clicked it open. Grant's writing style was exactly what I expected. Short sentences, aggressive confidence, corporate alpha posturing dressed up as leadership insight. But Marissa's responses were different, warmer, personal, not quite inappropriate, but close enough that someone reading between the lines would know. There was a deleted folder. Emptied 3 days ago, but the cloud kept backups for 30 days before permanent deletion. I restored it. 47 images appeared. I didn't open them. Didn't need to. The file names told me enough. My hands were still steady. The front door opened. Marissa stepped inside, her heels clicking on the hardwood. She stopped when she saw me sitting at the kitchen table, laptop open, phone recording screen activity. "Caleb." "Hey." She set down her purse. Her jacket was slightly wrinkled. Her lipstick was perfect. She'd reapplied it. Recently. "We should talk," she said. "About Q3 metrics?" Her jaw tightened. Don't what? Don't do this." "Do what, Marissa?" She crossed her arms. Classic defensive posture. I'd seen her use it in arguments before, usually when she was preparing to pivot from defense to offense. "You sent me a text designed to hurt me, to scare me. That's not okay." "You think I was trying to scare you? Weren't you?" "No." I closed the laptop. "I was letting you know I'm not stupid." She flinched, barely. Just a micro-expression, the kind you'd miss if you weren't watching for it. "I don't know what you think you know." "Stop," Caleb, stop. I stood up. You're about to tell me I'm paranoid, or jealous, or imagining things. You're going to use your HR voice, the one you use to de-escalate situations at work. You'll be calm and rational and make me feel like I'm the problem. But here's the thing, Marissa. I know exactly what I know. And I know you're trying to figure out what I know so you can adjust your story accordingly. So let's skip that part. Her expression shifted. The mask cracked. Just for a second, I saw something underneath. Not guilt. Calculation. What do you want? She asked. Nothing right now. Then why? Because I'm tired, and tomorrow's a work day, so I'm going to bed. I walked past her, down the hall, into the guest bedroom. She didn't follow. I locked the door anyway. I didn't confront her the next morning. I made coffee instead. 2 cups, set hers on the counter where she'd find it, left mine in a travel mug by the door. When she came into the kitchen, I was already dressed for work, keys in hand. Caleb, we can't just... Running late, I said. We'll talk tonight. Her eyes narrowed. Promise? Sure. I left before she could respond. The hospital network where I worked had 6 facilities across the metro area. My job was keeping them functional. Plumbing, HVAC, electrical systems, security installations. If it broke, I fixed it. If it needed upgrading, I managed the contractors. 15 years of institutional knowledge lived in my head. I knew which suppliers cut corners, which inspectors could be negotiated with, which emergency procedures actually worked. I also knew people, the kind who solve problems quietly. Nolan Pierce was one of them. We'd met 4 years ago when the main hospital needed a security upgrade. Nolan ran a commercial locksmith operation, but his real expertise was consulting. He understood access control, surveillance blind spots, how to make a building actually secure instead of just looking secure. He'd saved the hospital $60,000 by redesigning the badge system, eliminating redundant cameras, and fixing structural vulnerabilities nobody else had noticed. He also did side work, the kind that didn't appear on invoices. I called him from my truck during lunch. Caleb, been a while. Need advice. What kind? Personal situation, requires discretion. Nolan didn't hesitate. Where? Your place? Give me an hour. Nolan's workshop sat in an industrial park on the south edge of town, sandwiched between a plumbing supply warehouse and a defunct print shop. Inside, it looked like a cross between a hardware store and a spy movie set. Locks covered every surface, deadbolts, padlocks, smart locks, antique skeleton keys mounted like trophies. Workbenches held disassembled mechanisms, circuit boards, programming equipment. Nolan was 41, but looked older. Shaved head, thick forearms, the kind of face that made people trust him without knowing why. He poured 2 glasses of whiskey without asking, slid one across the counter. Talk. I did. Kept it factual, timeline, evidence, patterns. When I finished, Nolan set down his glass. You want to scare him or hurt him? Neither. Then what? I want him to understand he made a mistake. Nolan smiled, not friendly, knowing. That's worse. Good. He pulled out a tablet, started sketching. Grant Holloway, regional sales director, divorced twice, lives in Riverside, drives an Audi with custom plates. I'm guessing gated community, standard upper-middle security theater. You know him? I know the type. All bark, no teeth. Guys like that panic when control slips. You push the right pressure point, they crack. What's the right pressure point? Reputation, status, public image. Nolan zoomed in on his sketch. You don't need to touch him. You just need to make him think you might. Fear of exposure does more damage than exposure itself. How? Depends how far you want to go. Legal limits. Smart. He pulled up a map on his tablet. Let me show you something. The map displayed Grant's neighborhood. Nolan highlighted the streets, marked traffic patterns, noted camera placements. Standard mistakes everywhere, he said. Security focused on property, not people. Cameras cover entrances, not parking areas. Motion lights trigger on animals, not humans after midnight. Gates are decorative. Fences are climbable. The whole setup assumes criminals are stupid. I'm not a criminal. Exactly, that's your advantage. Over the next 2 hours, Nolan walked me through scenarios. Not illegal ones. Intimidation tactics. Psychological pressure. He explained how to occupy space aggressively without trespassing, how to control conversations through tone and positioning, how to make someone feel watched without actually surveilling them. The goal isn't confrontation, he said. It's inevitability. You want him to know you're coming, but not when, not how. That uncertainty breaks people faster than any direct threat. I left with a plan. No crimes, no traceable actions, just strategic presence and perfect timing. That night, Marissa tried again. We need to talk about last night. Okay. I mean really talk, not this passive-aggressive silence. I looked up from my laptop. What do you want to say? That you're overreacting, that Grant and I are colleagues, that whatever you think is happening isn't. Interesting. What's interesting? You didn't ask what I think is happening. She paused, recalibrating. Fine. What do you think is happening? I think you've been seeing Grant outside work. I think it's been going on for months. I think you've been careful but not careful enough. And I think you're worried because you don't know what I've found. Her face went pale. Caleb. Am I wrong? She didn't answer. That's what I thought. It's not what you think. Then tell me what it is. She sat down across from me, her hands folded in her lap. Professional mode. Grant and I have a working relationship that became complicated. It was never supposed to go anywhere. It was just what? Attention, validation, something that made me feel like I mattered. You matter to me. Do I? Her voice cracked, actual emotion breaking through. When was the last time you looked at me like I was something more than a roommate? When did you last plan anything for us? When did you make me feel like I was your priority? I work 60-hour weeks to keep us stable. You work 60-hour weeks to avoid me. That landed. I felt it hit. Because part of me knew she was right. We'd become efficient. Parallel. Two people executing a shared life plan without actually sharing life. But that didn't excuse anything. So you went to him. I made a mistake. Mistakes are singular. This was a choice. Repeated. She wiped her eyes. What do you want me to say? Nothing. Caleb, please. I need time to think. How much time? I don't know yet. I went back to the guest bedroom, locked the door, opened my laptop and continued downloading files. 3 days later, I saw Grant for the first time since the barbecue. He was leaving the gym downtown, the expensive kind with eucalyptus towels and cold-pressed juice bars. He wore athletic gear that probably cost more than my monthly truck payment. His hair was still wet from the shower. I parked across the street, waited, watched him load his gym bag into the Audi's trunk, check his phone, glance around with the casual confidence of someone who'd never been challenged. When he pulled out of the lot, I followed. Not close, not obvious, just present. He drove to a Starbucks. I parked in the adjacent structure, 3rd level, found a spot with a clear view of the entrance. He went inside, came out 12 minutes later with a venti something and a pastry bag. When he walked toward his car, I was standing beside it. He froze. Can I help you? Grant Holloway? Who's asking? Caleb Rowe, Marissa's husband. His expression cycled through surprise, fear, then forced composure. Look, man, I don't know what she told you. She didn't tell me anything. Then why? I wanted to meet properly. Last time was at that barbecue. You said Marissa was essential to your operation. She's a great employee. I'm sure. He shifted his weight, looked toward the parking structure exit, calculating escape routes. This is inappropriate. Is it? I could call security. You could. What do you want? I stepped closer, not threatening. just close enough that he had to look up slightly to maintain eye contact. I want you to understand something, Grant. Marissa might work for you, but her life intersects with mine, and when someone disrupts that life, I notice. I haven't disrupted anything. Haven't you? We're colleagues, that's all. Then you won't mind if I verify that. Verify how? I smiled. Didn't answer. Just held his gaze until he looked away. Stay away from my wife, he said. His voice shook slightly. Stay away from mine. I walked past him, back toward my truck. Didn't look back, didn't need to. I could feel his panic radiating across the concrete. When I got home, Marissa was waiting. Grant called me. Did he? He said you threatened him. I didn't. He said you cornered him in a parking garage. I introduced myself. Caleb, you can't do this. Can't do what? Harass him. Stalk him. Whatever you think you're doing. I'm not stalking anyone. I was getting coffee. He happened to be there. We talked. That's not what he said. Then one of us is lying. Her jaw clenched. You're trying to control this situation. No, I'm trying to understand it. By intimidating my boss? By making sure he knows I exist. She grabbed her purse. I'm staying at my mother's tonight. Okay. Okay? That's all you have to say? What do you want me to say? That you'll stop. That you'll let this go. I can't. Why not? Because you humiliated me, Marissa. And humiliation requires a response. She stared at me. Then left. The house felt different after she was gone. Quieter. Cleaner. I made dinner. Ate alone. Cleaned up. Opened my laptop. The deleted folder had been a starting point. But there were other files. Chat logs. Calendar overlaps. Expenses that didn't match official records. I started building a timeline. A map. Not for lawyers. For leverage. Because I was done being the underdog. Marissa stayed gone for 4 days. Her mother, Elaine, called on day 2. What did you do to my daughter? Asked questions she didn't want to answer. She says you're acting unstable. She's entitled to her opinion. Caleb, marriage is about forgiveness. It's also about honesty. You're being cruel. Am I? Elaine hung up. I expected that. She'd always seen Marissa as flawless, any problem as someone else's fault. Typical, predictable, useful. Because Elaine's social circle was Marissa's professional network, country club connections, fundraiser committees, the kind of people who valued reputation above everything. If Elaine thought Marissa was the victim, she'd tell everyone. And when the truth came out, the backlash would be exponential. I didn't need to do anything. Just wait. Grant, meanwhile, was unraveling. Nolan called me Thursday afternoon. Your boy's getting paranoid. How do you know? He called 3 security companies this week. Asked about residential surveillance upgrades. One of them's a guy I know. Said Grant sounded spooked. Good. You want me to turn up the heat? Not yet. Your call. I hung up and checked Marissa's location. Still at Elaine's, still stationary, still avoiding. Friday night I went to the Riverside neighborhood again. This time I didn't park far away. I drove directly to Grant Street, pulled into his driveway and parked behind the Audi. The motion lights flared. The camera above the garage swiveled toward me. I waved at it. Then I got out, walked to the front door, and knocked. Grant opened it 3 inches, chain still latched. What the? We need to talk. Get off my property. This won't take long. I'm calling the authorities. Go ahead. Tell them Marissa's husband stopped by to discuss her workplace conduct. I'm sure HR would love to hear about your home office meetings. His face went red, then white. You don't know anything. Don't I? You're bluffing. I pulled out my phone, showed him a screenshot. Just one. A text from Marissa to Grant, date stamped 3 weeks ago. Can't wait to see you tonight. His hand tightened on the doorframe. There are 47 more where that came from, I said. Photos, emails, calendar overlaps, expense reports that don't match corporate records, all backed up, all documented, all time-stamped. That's private information. It's shared cloud storage, legally accessible. Marissa never revoked my access. You're insane. No, I'm thorough. He tried to close the door. I didn't stop him, didn't need to. The seed was planted. When I got home, Marissa was waiting in the driveway. You went to his house. I did. After I explicitly told you not to. You don't get to tell me what to do anymore, Marissa. She got out of her car, slammed the door. You're destroying everything. I'm not the one who destroyed it. You're making this worse. For who? For both of us. I don't think you understand the situation. Then explain it to me. I pulled out my phone again, opened the restored folder, scrolled through the file names without showing her the contents. Her eyes widened. Where did you? You deleted them. I recovered them. Took about 3 minutes. Those are private. They were on shared storage. You had no right. I had every right, legally, ethically, and morally. You want to argue that in court? Her face crumpled. What are you going to do with them? That depends. On what? On how much worse you make this. She stepped back. You're blackmailing me. No, I'm giving you a choice. Cooperate with the consequences, or I escalate them. What consequences? Monday morning, Grant's going to get a package. Not from me, from an anonymous sender. It'll contain copies of every expense report discrepancy from the past 6 months, hotels, restaurants, charges during work hours at locations nowhere near his territory, all cross-referenced with your location data. You can't. I can. I will. Unless you do exactly what I tell you. Which is what? Go back to work Monday, act normal, do your job, and when Grant asks what I have, tell him the truth. Everything. You're trying to ruin him. No, I'm letting him ruin himself. She got back in her car, didn't say another word, drove away. I slept well that night, best I'd slept in months. Monday came. Marissa went to work. Grant went to work. I sent the package, not physically, digitally. An email from an untraceable temporary account to Grant's personal address and his corporate supervisor. Subject line, expense audit required. Attached, a spreadsheet, 30 pages. Every inconsistency highlighted, every pattern documented, every discrepancy cross-referenced with Marissa's calendar. No accusations, no commentary, just data. By noon, Grant had been called into a meeting with HR and the CFO. By 2 p.m., Marissa was in the same meeting. By 4 p.m., Nolan called. Whatever you did, it worked. Grant's assistant just ordered new locks for his office, personal ones, not company-issued. He's scared. He's terrified. Good. That night, Marissa came home. She looked exhausted, broken. She set her purse on the counter, sat down, and stared at nothing. They're investigating, she said. Both of you? Yes. What did you tell them? The truth, that we were involved, that it was consensual, that we tried to keep it separate from work. And Grant? He denied everything at first. Then the emails came up, the receipts, the timeline. He admitted to some of it. Some? He's claiming I initiated it, that I pursued him. I laughed, actually laughed. Classic. It's not funny. It's predictable. She looked at me, really looked, for the first time in weeks. You planned this. Yes. You knew exactly what would happen. Yes. Why? Because you thought humiliation was harmless. You thought I'd just accept it, move on, pretend it didn't happen. But humiliation doesn't work that way, Marissa. It compounds, it echoes, and eventually it finds a target. So I'm the target. No, you're collateral damage. Grant's the target. What's the difference? You still have a choice. He doesn't. She stood up, walked toward the bedroom, stopped at the door. I underestimated you. Yes, you did. She went inside, closed the door. I heard her crying through the wall. I felt nothing. The storm hit on a Wednesday. Not metaphorically. An actual storm. Late October. Unseasonably violent. The kind that knocked out power across 3 counties and sent tree branches through windshields. The hospital went to backup generators. I spent 12 hours coordinating emergency repairs, rerouting supply chains, keeping critical systems online. When I finally got home, the power was still out. Marissa wasn't there. Her location showed her at Elaine's again. Running, hiding. Typical. I lit candles, made a sandwich, sat in the dark. My phone buzzed. Nolan. You watching the news? No power. Grant's having a rough night. How rough? Check your email. I opened my phone's browser. Nolan had sent a link, local news site. Headline, Sales Director under investigation for workplace ethics violations. The article was sparse. No names yet, but enough details to identify him. Company size, industry, position. The reporter had clearly gotten a tip. Someone inside the organization. Someone who wanted this public. Not me. I'd been careful. But Elaine's social network included a VP's wife, and Elaine, bless her, couldn't keep secrets. The backlash had started. I texted Marissa, "You should read the news." No response. I waited. 20 minutes later, she called. "Did you do this?" "No." "Then who?" "Your mother has a big mouth." Silence. Then, "Oh God. Yeah. This is going to destroy him." "That's the idea. Caleb, he has kids." He should have thought of that before. "This isn't justice. This is revenge." "You're right. It is." She hung up. The power came back around midnight. I went to bed, slept through the storm. Thursday morning, Grant didn't show up to work. Friday, his assistant resigned. By Monday, 3 more people from his department had requested transfers. The company issued a statement. Under review. Corporate speak for, "We're cutting ties, but need legal clearance first." Marissa stopped going to the office, took personal leave, spent her days at Elaine's, away from the fallout. I kept working, kept fixing things, kept moving forward. Then, Tuesday night, Grant called me. "We need to talk." "No, we don't. You've made your point. Enough. I'll decide when it's enough. I've lost everything. Good. My job, my reputation. My kids are hearing about this at school. Should have considered that before." "You self-righteous—" "Careful." He breathed hard into the phone. "What do you want?" "I want you to understand what you did. Not just to me, to yourself. I made a mistake. You made a choice. Own it." "I am owning it." "No, you're blaming Marissa. You're playing victim. You're trying to spin this like you got seduced. But here's the truth, Grant. You thought you could have her without consequences. You thought you were untouchable. And now you know you're not. I'll fight this." "With what? Evidence? Witnesses?" "You've got nothing. I've got everything. You're a monster. No, I'm just better at this than you." I hung up. 2 days later, the final blow landed. Not from me, from Grant himself. He went to Marissa's office, tried to confront her. Security had to remove him. The whole thing was caught on lobby cameras. Someone leaked the footage. It went viral internally. By end of day, it was on social media. Comments flooded in. Employees, clients, competitors. The story grew, mutated. Details got distorted. Some true, some exaggerated, all damaging. Grant's lawyer released a statement denying misconduct. Too late. The narrative was set. Marissa called me that night. "He came after me at work. I heard. He's falling apart. Yes. You need to stop." I didn't make him show up. I didn't make him cause a scene. He did that himself. Because you pushed him to it. I gave him accurate information. How he reacts is his choice. "Caleb, please." "Please what?" "End this." "It is ending. Just not the way you wanted." She was quiet for a long time. Then, "When did you become so cold?" "Around the time you stopped caring if I was warm." She hung up. I looked at my phone, the call log. Weeks of conversations, arguments, negotiations, all pointless. I deleted her contact, blocked her number, changed the locks. Then I opened my laptop and started drafting the final document. Not for lawyers, for closure. The company's annual fundraiser was scheduled for Friday night. Black tie, silent auction, networking disguised as charity. Marissa had coordinated it for 3 years running. Her signature event, her moment to shine. She wasn't going to attend this year. Circumstances had changed. But Grant was, or he planned to. Right up until Wednesday, when his invitation was quietly revoked. That's when I decided to go instead. I sent an email to the organizers, explained I was Marissa's spouse, asked if her ticket could be transferred. They approved it within an hour. No questions. They probably assumed we were still together. I bought a suit, got a haircut, shined my shoes. Friday evening, I arrived at the venue, a renovated warehouse downtown, exposed brick and Edison bulbs and overpriced wine. The guest list was exactly who I expected. Corporate executives, HR directors, sales teams, everyone who mattered in Marissa's professional universe. I walked in alone, heads turned, whispers started. I ignored them, found the bar, ordered a drink, waited. Marissa arrived 20 minutes later. She stopped in the doorway when she saw me. Her face went pale. "What are you doing here?" "Supporting your event." "Caleb, don't." "Don't what?" "Make a scene." "I'm not making anything. I'm just here." "You're here to humiliate me." "No, I'm here to watch." She turned and walked toward the restrooms. I didn't follow. Instead, I circulated, introduced myself. Caleb Rowe, Marissa's husband. Handshakes. Small talk. Nobody asked why I was alone. They assumed divorce proceedings. I didn't correct them. At 7:30, Grant arrived. He wasn't supposed to be there. His invitation had been revoked. But he walked in anyway, unshaven, wrinkled shirt, eyes red from what I assumed was alcohol. Security noticed immediately. So did everyone else. Grant scanned the room, found me, started walking. I set down my drink. He stopped 3 feet away. "You. Me. You destroyed me. You destroyed yourself. I'm going to ruin you." "With what?" He pulled out his phone. "I recorded our conversations. I have proof you threatened me." "Did I threaten you?" "You cornered me, intimidated me." "I talked to you. In public places. That's not illegal." "You manipulated everything." "I documented everything. There's a difference." He stepped closer. His breath reeked. "You think you're so smart. Smarter than you." His hand clenched. For a second, I thought he might actually swing. I almost wanted him to. Self-defense laws would have made the evening perfect. But he didn't. He just stood there, shaking, breaking. Security arrived. 2 guards, polite but firm. "Sir, you need to leave." "This man, sir, now." They escorted him out. The room erupted in whispers. Phones came out. Photos, videos. The story would be everywhere by morning. Marissa appeared beside me. "Are you happy now?" "Getting there." "You did this on purpose." "No. He did. I just showed up." "You orchestrated this entire night." "I bought a ticket. He crashed the party. That's his choice." "You're going to regret this." "I doubt it." She walked away. I finished my drink. At 9 p.m., I left, drove home, changed clothes, sat in the dark. My phone buzzed, messages flooding in. People I hadn't talked to in years, asking what happened, if I was okay, if the rumors were true. I deleted them all. Then I opened my laptop one final time, pulled up the document I'd been drafting, the one cataloging everything. Timeline, evidence, consequences. I didn't send it anywhere. Didn't need to. It existed. That was enough. I closed the laptop, turned off my phone, walked outside. The night was cold, clear, stars visible for once, no city lights drowning them out. I stood there, breathing, feeling nothing but the weight of finality. Marissa would rebuild. Grant would relocate. Life would move on. Theirs, anyway. Mine already had. I went back inside, locked the door, left the past on the porch where it belonged.